All right, so it is about that time to finish the zodiac. So all we have left is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Gemini. And I am going to do them in that order. So we don't need Siri today, unfortunately. Siri's taking a break. I don't know how y'all feel about Siri, but I love Siri. Siri is the best virtual assistant that I could ask for. All right, let's get into this and see what's up. So far, these have been kind of heavy. A lot of them have been pretty heavy. But things that are worthy and deserving of attention. Because once resolved, then it clears gateways, pathways, opens us up to new possibilities that we are currently, for whatever reason, not it's a little bit more difficult to align to. So actually, let me flip a card. Just see. I'm gonna adjust the lights really quick so that we can get these nice and square. Here we go. I don't know if you can hear the commotion outside. Hope not. There we go. Yep, perfect. All right. So let's get into this. And it's still light enough for me to be able to read. Six of Wands. Okay. So just going to give these a few shuffles. Again, I'm going to go from Taurus to Leo, Scorpio, and then Gemini. The Star and the High Priestess. The Six of Pentacles and the Star. There's Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus right now. So the fixed signs may be coming into a space of learning to be a little less fixed. Learning that when we allow it to, life can be pretty cool. Even in ways that we didn't necessarily sort of think it could be. So, fluidity, openness, now's a great time. Alright. I'm going to pull up my little notepad on the computer and type these in so I can keep the timestamps as I go along. And sometimes I'll pause it to eliminate the pause in between. I may not today. I might today. I might leave it as one continuously flowing piece with little breaks in between for me to make this more convenient. So, let's say Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Scorpio, and Gemini. Alright, so Taurus, your timestamp begins now at 3:33. So Taurus, let's see what's it. There's a lot in Taurus, or there was a lot in Taurus at least. We had Venus, the Sun, the Moon at one point, Uranus, and Mercury. Now, I think Venus is still in Taurus. Mercury has already entered Gemini. The Moon's, still doing her rounds. And the Sun is still in Taurus as of the recording of this video. Oh, the Moon is actually in Taurus now because we're about to have the Taurus new moon. So right now, the Moon, Uranus, and the Sun are in Taurus. Venus has transited into Gemini. Mercury is in Gemini, and the North Node is in Gemini. Mercury is about to conjunct the North Node. Venus is headed her way towards the North Node. Mars is in Cancer, 10 degrees. So that is, it's separating. There was a sextile between the Sun and Mars, and very nurturing, caring placements, right? Cancer and Taurus. And there we go, Taurus. The Ten of Wands. All right, Taurus. Hold up. Let me put my glasses on so we can get into this. There's something happening in the sky in this Ten of Wands card, and it's making me think of Halley's Comet that just went by. And so, if you were fortunate enough to see the meteor showers, then that just happened. Also, we have the sun and the full moon in this card, both in the sky at the same time, and it looks like it's daytime. There's a little bit of a feeling of being shipwrecked, maybe even marooned. It feels like, though, things are still intact. It's like if you hear a noise and then you see something and then you assume that like what you heard and the thing that you see are connected. And now you can't see it at all. Now it's looking like Jesus on the cross and the light is coming. Maybe this is a resurrection that needs to happen or a resurrection that's trying to happen. But for some reason, it's a little difficult to get off the ground, or we feel stranded in the middle of open water. I feel like there may be some emotional resistance or some spiritual resistance, some resistance in the realm of water that is preventing this transformation from fully happening. And so, what we're feeling is that resistance. Bottom of the deck for Taurus is the Dream Angel. So it's like, I feel like she's like holding the torch, trying to guide you in. And there does feel like a little bit of indecision here. It feels still. Like he could grab some of that wood and use it as a paddle to move forward. It also reminds me of from anime Mihawk. He's like one of the strongest swordsmen in that show, and he's one of the only pirates in that show that doesn't have a crew. And like his boat is shaped like a coffin, Dracula Mihawk, and he has a black blade. And then much later in the show, we find out that a black blade is nothing necessarily unique. It's when you channel your energy through the blade, it turns black. And a black blade, I guess, is a blade that has taken in enough energy to maintain that black appearance even after the channeling has stopped. So there's something about holding on to energy here. And I'm going to read this first. It almost feels a little bit like control issues. But with the full moon and the sun, there may be a need to let go of what you know. Like Uranus is in your sign right now. Now you are positioned for some pretty big changes that are probably necessary. And if you resist those changes, you may feel it, which again could be the sort of heaviness if there is any heaviness, or the overwhelm if there is any overwhelm. It feels like it's overwhelmed from resisting a change, and it's actually the resistance that you feel. And once you stop resisting, then a lot of that discomfort and a lot of that friction will ease up. So the Ten of Wands. The burdens of life are... Oh, girl. I'm in a little bit more light. Okay. The burdens of life are upon the seeker, who can be overwhelmed by the challenges and burdens placed upon them. They can only survive with courage and insight. They need to understand the true nature of being. Otherwise, they are overburdened with grief and worry. This card represents the shedding of the skin of illusion, rising above what appears to be dead. The figure now stands upon a coffin, broken open by swordfish rising from the watery depths of the unconscious. It is through the piercing sword of the fish that the illusion of life and death breaks open to reveal truth. Through the broken coffin, the illusion of death is pierced, and the inner eye now sees the triumphant spirit rising, shedding his skin to be crowned by the risen spirit. There are depths to plummet and mountains to climb, all in service of finding one's way, reaching the goal, discerning the truth. In the distance, the sun and moon are balanced behind the golden peaks. Reason and intuition shall be needed to successfully accomplish the journey. And what that's reminding of, I just watched Miss Remy Healing's Mandala, the Divine Mother, and Becoming. And in one of the Remy Oracle cards, it was said that, to experience the divine androgen, it's not that we abandon our masculinity or femininity. It's that we allow them to level up or to be so present that there is no real differentiation between the two. Where when we are trusting and following what is logical and what makes sense, that naturally that involves a certain amount of intuition and a certain amount of input from spirit. And while we are nurturing and protecting and we're doing all of that, that too, the masculine, what we associate as more masculine influences are still present. When you're nurturing and caring for something, you're probably still doing like what is logical and what makes sense. Right? So it's a little bit of that energy. A little bit again of that Halley's Comet. Something, it feels like, if you've ever seen Avatar, The Last Airbender, it feels like Sozin's Comet. Like it's something coming in to power up the firebenders. Ooh, the World card. Okay, Taurus. Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised to see the World for Taurus because again, Uranus is in Taurus. So, but when you're a fixed sign, it can be maybe sometimes a little bit more difficult to just go with the flow and be open. The Five of Wands is. It's in reverse, but these are all upright. Excuse me. The Five of Wands in this deck in particular is about a need to focus. And I feel like this is a feeling of like there are certain things that are asking to be closed or that are coming to a close, but we don't necessarily know what lies beyond that. And sometimes in our need to know, there are certain things that we can reject. But so too is there an energy of allowing right now in receiving, especially with Uranus, because Uranus has the opportunity to bring us things that we want, that we desire, but that we wouldn't necessarily know that we want. It may like send things to us that aren't on our radar or that are like off center on our radar, right? Maybe something that we didn't think that we would accomplish this soon or at all. Maybe something that's been forgotten. And then with the Three of Wands, bottom of the deck is the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is the great, I don't want to say the great journey killer. It's the great obstacle. I think the vision is there. There's a little bit of the vision that's here, but not knowing how to get there. And in this Ten of Wands card, there could be a little bit of a forcing. But if we force it, it feels like there's a High Priestess energy here. And that it's something that we don't currently know. We don't have, like, with what we know and understand, we wouldn't be able to conceive of what will happen next. And so if we try to force a knowing, what will inevitably end up happening is that we kind of sort of force ourselves not off path, because we can never really be off path, but we may create a certain detour for ourselves because we couldn't be patient and open and receptive enough or vulnerable enough to receive what was coming. Now we have to work through the thing that we've created and eventually work our way back to what this is. Also with this Three of Wands, it's like this is a tiny window into all of this. It feels like something that we're supposed to grow into. And so again, it's like we don't have the ability to comprehend fully what this is going to be right now. So don't force anything. Go with it. Understand that it's just a window, that it's just a peek, that there is so much more. And if you feel a little lost, it's fine. Feeling a little lost might actually be okay. Feeling a little lost may actually be preferred in some ways. Because it's almost like in a feeling of being lost, at least we can admit that we don't know. It's like in feeling lost, we are our most open. But then the question comes up whether or not we'll receive. There is a minor judgment energy in this. Major judgment is when like the whole world, like lots of people are coming out of the grave. This is like a personal judgment. It's like someone comes out of their grave, but they wake up in the middle of the ocean instead of like in the middle of, I don't know, a cemetery with other people. You may feel a little stranded, but spirit is here. There may be an element of Pisces here as well, or that just may be an element of connection because there are two fish here, and these are two fish. It's the swordfish. So there is a certain clarity in the water here because it's, through the swordfish, it's the integration of the water and the air. With the dream angel at the bottom of the deck, I feel like the dream angel would be the energy, the guardian, the guide that is sort of directing you right now. But it's like what it can give you is limited, or what you can perceive from what it gives you is limited. Also, with the fish here and the dream angel, pay attention to other avenues, media, other mediums of communication. Because it feels like the dream angel is going to be guiding you a lot. And it, again, I feel like it's leading you towards things that you don't necessarily know. And so you may not know like what everything is about, or you may not fully like grasp it. Again, you'd be like, okay, well, I got these signs, I got this download, but I don't know what it is. It's like live life and find out. You don't have to know what it is. Also, with this Three of Swords, the Daughter of Wands, this is really Wands heavy. 10 of Wands, 5 of Wands, 3 of Wands, Daughter of Wands under the 3 of Swords. This is really Wands heavy. And then Aquarius is the opposite of Leo. And I feel like that the fact that it's the opposite of Leo, the fact that it's the opposite of this energy in particular, as the first decan of Leo. And then we have Sagittarius and Aries represented. This is the last decan of Sagittarius, the second decan of Aries, the first decan of Leo. So there is a 1, 2, 3 here. It's Leo, and then Aries, and then Sagittarius. It's fixed fire, cardinal fire, and then mutable fire. With the dream angel who sits on the opposite end of that fixed fire, who is fixed earth, fixed air. It feels like there's also an energy of Taurus aligning to something. And so there may be shifts within Taurus, and maybe some of the things that need to shift, it's like trauma responses or ways that we've become because of the pain that we've endured and suffered. Those are the things that kept us in a certain realm of experience. But once they're broken and released, once we fully allow for this transformation to happen, it opens us up to sail on to a whole new, I want to say, dimension. And that's why the dream angel is here with the turtle, waiting for our arrival onto the land. And look, then there's the 10 of Cups under this dream angel. So it's definitely going to work out. If the 10 of Cups is there, and again, if the 3 of Swords is here and the World card is there, there probably are going to be some things that we need to work through to make sure that we're able to receive and to make sure that we're able to exist in that space, right? Sometimes when things start to go too well, depending on what our experience is, we may start to question or doubt, or we may start to sabotage. And it's time for those cycles to be over. It also feels like whatever this 3 of Swords represents could be causing us to not find clarity in certain spaces where we could find clarity. This is like the distortion of this vision right here, because we're still holding on to this energy. As we allow those to close out, it clears this space up. Again, with the swordfish, there's clarity coming from the realm of water, and it's gonna like put us in a position to be able to see this. So that's what I got, Taurus. All the best. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that you can find it within you to flow in a way, or to not need for so much to be known or for so much to be proven before you do something. I hope you can find the space to allow and to receive. So next, we're going to be moving over to Leo. So let me get these together. Let me give them a few shuffles, and then I'll get the timestamp for Leo. For Leo, what is Corleones? Corleones. Is that from Fairy Tale? Oh, there's the Strength card for Leo with the Ten of Swords. I feel like it's an energy of like redefining pride. Low key. The Six of Cups in the Strength card. And then the Father of Wands and the Six of Cups. Father of Wands is fixed fire, which is Leo again. So we had Strength, Leo, and then the Father of Wands, Leo, with that Six of Cups. Six of Cups is usually a card of, it's associated with the past, so it could be nostalgia. But it feels like, well, let me timestamp this because I'm already talking to Leo. I'll say 2211. Psych, I'll say 2217. I'll put 2211. Because like I said, I've been talking to Leo for a little bit of a minute now. So, if you're joining me here, you may want to go back about a minute to 20 minutes, potentially. I don't know what Corleones is. Is that a name? I have my computer right here. I'm going to look it up real quick. Coriolis. Corleone. Corleones. Here we go. Corleones is Restaurante and Bar, Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, that's Corleones. Corleones Restaurant and Bar. It's not Corleone. Corleones. Corleones. I don't know. Let me put Fairy Tale. Because it might be somebody from Fairy Tale. Ralph Fiennes or Fiennes? Corleone. Corleones and oh, Corleones. Corleones, was that the dude in the Tempest? Was that the name of the dude in the Tempest? Or no? I don't remember. Who was Corleones? Let's see. Oh, this is a movie now in theaters. It drips with masculine aggression from the film's very first moments. A tattooed man runs his blade across a whetstone while watching a modern Rome fall to pieces on television. A rigid, pulsating march scores glimpses of Romans starving and rebelling as the area falls into a state of emergency. General Caius Martius scornfully interacts with the hungry rioters. Because they do not serve in the military, he deems them unworthy. Everything is filtered through the mind of a man singularly focused on war. Though the story comes from William Shakespeare, it is genre fair through and through. Okay, well, who is Shakespeare's Corleones? I'm like, Corleones, what is this? Hello? Play by William Shakespeare. Let's go. Coriolanus? Coriolanus. I can't pronounce anything. It's the name of a Roman general after his military defeat at Okay, I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead. Mercury is getting closer to being retrograde, and I can't. I'm having a Mercury square because my Mercury is in Pisces and Mercury is in Gemini. Oh gosh. Maybe it wasn't that. So there was some masculine aggression. There was some military dude thinking that the hungry rioters weren't worthy because they weren't military. There's an energy of, it's like, what can you do for me type of energy. And it's very not great. Especially for an energy that's supposed to, like, lions at the pride, it's like a pack sort of thing, right? So it isn't necessarily like, well, only the lions that go out and hunt should be able to eat. Because then it's like, well, somebody has to stay home. Like, not everybody can be military, not everybody can fight, because then who's going to do everything else? And so for the people who do other things that you very much so rely on, how about showing them some respect and some decency? Because you're not doing it. Hello? Now, you could be underappreciated, or you could underappreciate, I don't know. Or maybe that's not even anything. So, Leo, who y'all got? The Eight of Swords. Maybe y'all are. It's not seeing something. Or something not being seen. Bottom of the deck is the Lady of Swords. Hold up. I've seen the Lord of Swords a lot. The Lady of Swords looks very similar. But the Lord of Swords has like that airy sort of energy to him through the glyph. But they're both in the same space. You have the Lady of Swords and this Eight of Swords, which altogether would be 9 swords. But this is interesting. I don't know if this is an aspect of you. I don't know if this is a new version of you that you are becoming. But there's a separation between these two. And I'm tempted to say that whoever this is the same person as this, trying to connect to you in some space. But you may not be in a position to pick up the receiver. That's what it feels like. Feels like spirit or somebody trying to reach out to you and show you something. Now, there is a lot more of this blue here in the lady than there is with the Lord. I don't think there's any blue with the Lord. Well, there's the Three of Swords, Leo. So apparently Leo's getting all the swords. All the swords for Leo. Apparently. Can y'all hear them? They're so loud. I'm like, why are y'all here? Why don't y'all go somewhere else? It's my little brother and his crew, his posse. Who is this? The Son of Cups? One more card, please. See, with the Son of Cups, so far it's the only element that's not swords and it's water. But there is a darkness in that cup. Now, if the Son of Cups isn't careful, then the darkness within him will consume him, and that's why the Father of Cups is the black swan, in context of this reading. It's like there are certain aspects. Something isn't being seen, something isn't being appreciated, something is only being seen through a lens or a focus of not worthy. And that not worthy has worked its way into the heart of Leo. And it's like Leo can be this bright, 2 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. But they're both dark. But I don't know if they are. I'm just not, I mean, honestly, they look more empty than dark to me. And so maybe there were relationships and connections in the past that you think, or that were like the most Two of Cups, the most loving and nurturing and kind and compassionate, but there was still an energy there that wasn't great. It was empty. And maybe it's like, well, instead of feeling empty, something is better than nothing, especially if it's an extroverted Leo energy, a more extroverted Leo energy, because there's something in that space of connection. And so maybe it's an energy of like self-sacrifice that we carry around. It also feels like it causes you to manifest or to look at, to go for, excuse me, less than what you truly deserve. It's like whenever we continuously sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice for someone or something, a job or a person, and we're never appreciated, eventually we're going to kind of sort of reach a breaking point. If we're never appreciated, eventually, like, we hold on to that. And if it isn't checked, it can color us. Last card. I guess I'll do a jumper. All right, a jumper. I'll do a jumper, a flopper, a flipper. Just make yourself known. Whenever you want. Here's the fire. And the strength card! Now this is an 8-11, but in some decks this would actually be 8-8. And in some decks, strength is the 8, and justice is the 11. In some decks, strength is the 8, and in other decks, justice is the 8. In this deck, justice is the 8, and strength is the 11. I think these may be the only two decks I have where that's the case. Like, I have the Witch's Tarot within arm's reach, so I'll grab it and I'll show you. Because in the Witch's Tarot, I'm pretty sure justice is an 11. But let's not go looking for justice. Let's go looking for the strength card. And we'll see what's before and after strength. Let's see. I don't know why Miley Cyrus Can't Be Tamed just popped into my mind. Well, Miley Cyrus Can't Be Tamed popped into my mind because, oh, okay. Yeah, see, it's an 8 in this card, or in this deck, it's an 8. Miley Cyrus popped into my mind because I was like, oh, I wonder if this lion is going to be one that's like being wrestled by the angel or not. And then I was like, well, in this deck, there is nothing wrestling with the lion. It's just the lion. And that's why I Can't Be Tamed, and it popped into my mind. Now, we do have another 8. The 8 of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles came out. Queen of Pentacles is Capricornian energy, cardinal earth. But it could be anything that we feel like we have to tolerate because it provides some sort of stability. And so because the Queen of Pentacles provides whatever she provides, we take it. But if that Queen of Pentacles is of the not that great variety, what they can do is they can sort of make us feel worse about ourselves to the point where we get separated from the truth of who we are, to the point where you can't see all of who you are, all of what you're capable of. You can't see that you're like this majestic lion because someone's treating you like a stray cat. And this is the truth of you. This is the universe. This is your spirit team. This is God, the divine, trying to reach you. But for some reason, all of this is sort of blocking that connection. Again, so now we know that the Son of Cups is looking at the Three of Swords instead of the Strength and the Eight of Wands. Now, if we read this a certain way, This could be the Son of Cups taking this strength into an area where the Three of Swords currently exists to liberate Leo from whatever we're liberating Leo from. Because the Eight of Cups is out with this Queen of Pentacles. It's going to put you in a position to be able to provide for yourself. And in this deck, there's no fighting, there's no anything. Like the Lion and the Lady are chilling. And so maybe you're used to an environment that involves a lot of conflict and a lot of like contention. And it's because of that that you sort of hold on to some of this. It's because of that that there's this coloring, or that there's this discoloring. There's an overemphasis of certain dynamics or certain things that makes you think that strength is a certain thing. Or again, when you enter a Two of Cups energy, it'll make you think that a relationship dynamic should be a certain way. But if we looked at those two cups, they were empty. And if we look at his cup, it's going pretty dark. Since you are so supported, it feels like as soon as you come into an element of strength, you're going to be, again, this is you receiving all of the support that is currently there for you. You have to find it. There's also an energy here of like learning how to find peace, or learning how to separate yourself from conflict. Right? How many swords do we have? 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 1 is a 14. So there's 14 swords. You're trying to be taken from the Death of Swords to the Temperance of Swords to the Angel of Swords. And I guess this is that angel that's trying to connect to you. But if you don't allow the transformation to happen, then the death will turn into decay. And death in this deck is a bird. It'll turn into decay instead of a rebirth. Now with the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck here, it feels like there is a little bit of, I don't want to say a struggle. There's a pull from the light and a pull from the dark. There's a pull from like not wanting to experience any more contention and like conflict and chaos and like arguing, which would be the Sun or the Moon. Honestly, it could be either one. But on the other side, there's the part of you that might enjoy it a little bit. Like that likes to fight or likes to assert your dominance, because when you're in an argument, when you're trying to assert your dominance, it makes it easier for you to see all that you actually have going for you. It's almost like it's not until someone tries to take it, or it's not until you're attacked, that you remember how awesome you really are, where you remember how bright you actually are. But you only remember that because someone or something comes in to try to dim your light, or comes in and tries to make you play small. And I can be like that a little bit. I have one friend in particular who's like, oh, well, your GPA is terrible. Like, tell me how you're going to get a job and blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't have any experiences. And I'm like, well, I've done this, this, that, and this. And a lot of people who like run this track, they don't get those experiences. Also, I have natural strengths that a lot of people in these positions lack. For example, people skills. And so, like, I'm actually like pretty awesome. But again, I feel like outside of the context of that, I'll be like, well, like, I'm not necessarily putting myself down, but there are so many things that I don't necessarily remember until I'm like asked, or especially from that space of conflict. Because it's like, no, you're not going to come attack me. Like, let me defend myself real quick. And in me defending myself, it's like, oh, wait, like, I remember, right? So that it has a power to illuminate things to you. It's like in those moments, maybe you are a little closer to your truth, but it's about finding that truth without necessarily needing the conflict, because that hurts. And that causes resentment to build up. So that's navigating both that like wanting to sort of snap back or clap back, and not. So let's read the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords. Eight swords that keep you trapped. But like not really though. You just think that they do. What's that Disturbia when she's like a disease of the mind or something like that? Disturbia. From the bridge in the center of all directions, the seeker stretches her sight. The seeker stretches her sight. We're not even reading this card. Going down to the roots of the tree of life, beneath which sits Lady Wisdom. The seeker moves the veiled drapery to view the hidden wisdom. In the lady's arms is the message in a closed book. The seeker needs to view the visions from the depths, from dream working to decipher their hidden messages. The seeker urges us not to be fooled by a false sense of knowing. What we see initially may only be a hint of what remains hidden. It is necessary to discover the elusive and veiled, for it may completely shift our belief in what lies on the surface. The views we see from the bridge are incomplete. Lack of confidence in one's position often results from unknowing and misinterpretation. Here, Lady Wisdom sits in the depths, with veils covering her face in the wisdom that lies at the base of all existence. The seeker, stretching consciousness in search of the hidden, still remains with feet bound to waking reality, a sign that the physical world holds the seeker back. Bound by the restraints of sensory vision, the seeker needs to work hard to see beyond the veils, to uncover the hidden beneath the falsehoods. The view of reality is masked. Dogma and worn-out beliefs often hold one rooted to damaging philosophies which bind one to unknowing, discouraging the move from belief to true knowing. And that's sort of this. This is that dogma and stuff that we hold on to that's rooted in damaging philosophies and stuff like that, rather than all of this like knowing over here. Because it's like, again, as soon as you connect to this, it's like, boom, like things just instantly take off. You're being validated in the best ways possible instead of like all that weird stuff. And now it's quite the shift. Honestly, the Queen of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. The Queen of Pentacles, I read more often than not as Capricorn, Cardinal Earth, but it felt like Taurus when it came out. And that makes sense because, again, Uranus is in Taurus. And so it's affecting all the fixed signs in a way that is not necessarily comfortable. So, Leo, you're squaring that. Your sun, moon, rising, whatever placement I guess you're watching this for, is squaring Uranus and Taurus. Also squaring right now the sun and the moon in Taurus. The sun and the moon in the same place, in the second house of Taurus. And so maybe check out the Taurus bit, because honestly, when it was talking about like damaging philosophies and how holding on to what you know can be limiting you and blocking you from receiving even more, and how she's only giving you a piece of the vision, a lot of that came out for Taurus. There's a lot of swords here. The Lady of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords. But then we have all these wands. Where the Eight of Swords is the Eight of Wands. Again, it's like you're looking. Once you get the message, it has the opportunity to really propel you forward. But like that's how loved you are. I don't know if you've ever experienced it in a tangible, more easily recognizable way. But that's how loved and supported you are. In a way where you don't have to fight and argue your worth, where it's seen and valued and appreciated, where you're not deemed unworthy just because you don't do what somebody else does in the way that they do it. But they still like depend and rely on you for something. They still use you for something, don't they? And that's the one thing that I've never really been in a toxic relationship, but it's like I would fail to see how if you are as bad as some people would make you seem sometimes, why they would depend or rely on you. Like if I'm really that terrible, then like, why are you here? Right? Why don't you move on to something that's less bad? It's like, because I'm not all of those things. But as you try to convince me of what I'm not, and as you try to convince me of what I am, you put me in this hurt place and position where I latch onto you or I become dependent on you. I allow you to convince me that there is no one else, when in reality there's so much more that would never do these things to you. So that's what I got, Leo. It seems like, I feel like there's a lot of past heavy energy. It feels like you're in the space of a clearing now, like a clearing in the woods. And you're in a space of like navigating. It's like in a transitory between world sort of cycle. And Taurus got the world card too. So maybe check out Taurus. It might provide some insight. I just saw 45 when I looked over. So I hope you'll have a good whatever. Whenever you see this, I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that when you get a chance to sit it out or dance, that you dance, Leo. Because you're the star. Hello, like the part, like this ball is yours. It's not like, oh, like, and like literally Cinderella, the ball was hers just as much as it was the princess. But because of her, the wicked stepmother and her stepsisters, because they had stripped from her all that she is to the point where she couldn't see it, she didn't know that that was her ball. The prince didn't know that that was her ball, but maybe her fairy godmother knew that that was her ball, because fairy godmother made sure, girl, you're going to look real good and you're going to come in a horse-drawn carriage. They're not going to be able to miss you. It's just as much of yours as it is anyone else's. I don't know why Barbara Manatee is in my head. Who's gonna take me to the ball? Who's gonna take me to the ball, Bill? I have a new hat and shoes. Dress. I have a new dress and shoes. And new manatee lipstick. And then like Bill is acting all stank and stuff. And then it's like, he's like, Barbara, I don't know how to dance. And she's like, oh. Girl, why don't you just say that? Hello? Why you gotta make up all these excuses and get weird and make things like all weird? Why can't you just reveal how you truly feel? Well, maybe because there was never a safe space or a safe place to do that before. Maybe because vulnerability was seen as weakness and it was picked on rather than appreciated and met with love. And in turn, vulnerability. All right, Leo. My heart goes out to you. Okay. So next is Scorpio. I'm going to say 48. We'll see. Oh, I'm like, what are these cards here? Ooh, oh no. Oh, the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands made itself known. It almost failed, but luckily it didn't. So hopefully this deck is still complete. I went to go like type the timestamp for Scorpio, and I'm like, ooh, what are these cards? So the Four of Wands is there for you, Leo. It just may require some navigation. Today, so far at least, it feels like the most prevalent, I guess, energy is accepting or being in a position to receive better than what we've ever experienced so far. So Scorpio, we're gonna say 49. I'm glad I didn't type 4 and 8, because then I would have had to backspace. Sometimes you just, I don't know, Scorpio. We got the Spirit of Swords and the Dream Carrier. So the Dream Carrier is an Empress energy, and the Spirit of, oh my gosh, Scorpio, what come through with the synchronicities? Y'all see that Scorpion? And those peacock feathers? This is like how beautiful transformation can be, even though it might hurt like a mother at the moment and at the time. This also, it's giving me, who did it? It had to be, no, I think it was Cindy. I'm pretty sure it was Cindy from Awakening to Spirit in her Divine Mother video, or in her Mother's Day video. I didn't finish it because she was like, you need to pay attention to this, and I was not paying attention, so I gotta go back. It reminds me of the birth of Athena. Zeus had a cracking headache, a head-splitting headache, and Athena was born from that. Athena is symbolizing wisdom and things of that nature, right? With a little owl. She's also the goddess of good war. She's the goddess of necessary war. Unlike Ares, who's the god of like all war. He's just like he wants to fight. Athena, when it's necessary, in the ways that are necessary. It reminds me of the quote by Aristotle. It's like, to be angry is easy, but to be angry with the right person for the right reason at the right time to the right degree is not easy. And a lot of times where we get upset or where we're angry, we don't necessarily take that to the source, right? Sometimes we take out that anger on the people who are closest to us, on the people who we have some sort of position over, right? It's like the toxic masculine has a bad day at work and he comes home and takes out his anger on the toxic feminine, or on the feminine who becomes toxic, and the feminine who becomes toxic takes out her anger on the child who then becomes toxic, and the toxic child takes out their anger on the pets and the animals. And the animals are just like, this is our life. That's how it's passed down sometimes. That's how it moves around sometimes. In Scorpio, maybe it's time to learn to let some things go. Also, with that energy, with the Spirit of Swords, although painful, it can give birth to wisdom and it can be very beautiful. 2 cards! 2 cards! Oh, you got 2 threes! The 3 of Cups and the 3 of Wands. Okay, Scorpio. Have y'all gone through the fire? Is Scorpio ready to... And look at that castle in the sky looking like Disney. Do 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 do. Look at this giant in the forest. Girl. Also, shout out to Leo ? So Leo kind of referenced back to Taurus a little bit. Scorpio, you're referencing back to Leo a little bit. And because it looks like that's a lion that's coming up out of the flames. The lion is the king of the jungle. There's the palace. So there's a little bit of an inheritance energy, and both of these are happening at night. All right, Scorpio. Bottom of the deck is the 4 of Swords. Yeah, so it feels like Scorpio is in a position of coming out. They're coming out on the other side of that transformation. It felt like Leo was having some difficulty with it. It felt like if Leo wasn't careful, then they could lend to decay instead of transformation in that death process. And decay is what happens when you get stuck in dying, but decay itself gives rise to new things. So, all right. I mean, well, shoot. Look at this. 3, 3, 4. And they're all different. 3 wands, 3 cups, 4 swords. So what's up with the pentacles? Well, let's see. If the pentacles come out, they come out. If they don't, they don't. Right? Ooh, Scorpio. I'm like, this is like feeling gorgeous. Low key, I'm surprised that Scorpio of all the fixed signs is coming out. But Uranus is opposing Scorpio right now. And Scorpio, so Scorpio's natal ruler is in Capricorn. Energetically, Capricorn and Taurus trine, even though they're pretty far. Like Pluto is in late Capricorn. Uranus just entered like 10 degrees Taurus. So it's Uranus is about to hit mid Taurus eventually, because Uranus is kind of slow. And Pluto is slower than Uranus and in late Capricorn. So Scorpio opposes Taurus, but sextiles Capricorn. So it feels like, and maybe that's the Three of Wands energy here. Because it feels like if you try to take something on directly, you may encounter challenge. But it's an energy that's almost like choosing your battles. And because you know how to do that, there's more peace. There's less conflict and contention and headaches and things of that nature. Let me scooch these down a little bit so you can actually see these maybe. There you go. I'm getting this, oh, Mother of Cups at the bottom of the deck, Cancerian energy. Just pre-High Priestess in general. I mean, the Queen of Pentacles is typically Capricorn, but it felt like Taurus. So this could typically be Cancer, but feel like Scorpio. The Queens are fixed today instead of cardinal. And I feel like that means something. This is where the Queens sort of put their feet down. And I got this, like, I don't know if y'all have ever experienced, it's like ear ringing, but instead of ringing, it's silence. And I don't know if that's just something that I'm just like, brain can't even begin to compute. Wait, ooh. We'll take these that almost fell. And apparently that. Oh, the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. See, Scorpio, again, like, I didn't necessarily expect gorgeous energy from Scorpio, but I'm not complaining. I ain't mad at it. If anybody deserves it, it's Scorpio. If anybody deserves it, it's Scorpio. I'm a Pisces, so I don't necessarily personally get it, but I see y'all, Scorpio. Oh, see, when I was talking about that thing that I can't even comprehend, there's the High Priestess. And I can feel on my arm right here. I just felt that breeze come in. I can feel the presence here now. It's like a coolness. It's like if there were a draft in here, but there's like I literally just closed my window and turned off my fan. Both of my fans before I started this. The High Priestess is here with the Two of Cups and the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords in this deck is my card of birthright. It is my card of something that is like Spirit is holding on to it for safekeeping until you reach a certain point, right? That would be like if you have an inheritance that you get at 18. But, you know, it's not necessarily gated by age, it's gated more by experience. Whatever you've been missing out on, Scorpio, you've been positioning yourself to receive. And I want to say this may have been done in the dark. Honestly, I think I will say that this may have been done in the dark because we have the Starry Night Sky here, and also the Starry Night Sky is here, but we're coming out of the cave here with this Four of Swords. Now, these four cards, we got the Eight of Wands, which is gorgeous. That's things happening quick. Leo got the Eight of Wands. We have the Ten of Wands, which can be rough. Taurus got the Ten of Wands. We have the Five of Wands, which Taurus also got. And then we have the Six of Cups. So we have a 6, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1 in the 10. Actually, we have a 9 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, 7 of Swords, 6 of Cups, 5 of Wands, 4 of Swords, the 3 of Wands and the 3 of Cups, the 2 of Cups, the High Priestess, who is a 2, and the 10 of Wands, which holds the space as a 1. Honestly, the 10 of Wands could be the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or it could be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or it could be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because after all of this, we probably go from the 10 of Wands to a new ace, especially with the insight here. And what I love about this 10 of Wands card in particular is that we can see a clearing in the Scorpio. You have navigated your way through that. Again, you made it through the darkness. Now you're coming to the clearing where there's a light. Now, it felt like Leo was in a clearing, but the clearing that Leo was in, it felt like they were sort of lost there, right? They weren't necessarily all the way out of the woods. And it's not that you're all the way out of the woods, Scorpio, but you are no longer afraid of the dark. I think a lot of people can look at Scorpio and can think that Scorpio isn't afraid of the dark. I think Scorpio can look at Scorpio and think that they're the master of the dark, but Scorpio may be more afraid of the dark than anyone else because they spend the most time there. I feel like if you talk to a Scorpio after they've had a few, or if they're really honest and vulnerable, Scorpio would probably be like, I feel the dark more than anyone because I know what's there. Like, you fear the dark because of what you imagine to be there. I fear the dark because of what I've seen. And if you could see it, you'd know it's worse than what you imagine sometimes. Or that it's not that bad, right? This is gorgeous. Again, like, who would have thought that Scorpio? Come through with the transformation, Scorpio said, death who? Don't know her. Transformation. Scorpio said emerging. Scorpio said emergence, honey. Death happened. Love that. Love that. Work, Scorpio. Come on. Come through. Come through. Whatever y'all been doing, girl. Congratulations. Relationships are not what they seem. As the couple plan to enter the forest, they are greeted by another, a figure looming large and high above them. We're reading the Three of Wands. Discard. A figure looming large and high above them. Its influence will affect their relationship. It can be positive where three meet in harmony, with each bringing wisdom to the company. Yet it can be disturbing. There can be a crowd resulting in confusion. Three can be a crowd resulting in confusion, sorry. Three can be a crowd resulting in confusion. Again, so apparently I'm confused, girl. High to the right-hand corner of the image, a scarab beetle awaits the arrival of the couple. The scarab is an ancient symbol of regeneration and was seen as a symbol of the power of renewal. The journey into the forest is an adventure into a new phase of life. There are many trees, hidden and seen figures, even a web through which one walks as though there is an unseen veil at the entrance. Help or hindrance awaits. The couple must be vigilant to discern influencing voices. It is difficult to see clearly in the forest of hidden agendas. One enters with enthusiasm for the first burst of energy, yet confusion looms as there is no paved path. There are unknown dangers, and the scarab high in the branches heralds a birth, a newness that only rises from the death of something else. What did I tell y'all about Scorpio emerging? Girl, Scorpio said transformed. Not death and transformation. Scorpio said transformed. Transform ED, as in DONE, done. It happens. And again, especially with the High Priestess and the Seven of Swords and the Two of Cups, it has been seen. It will be coming. Things are going to start lightening up for you maybe now, Scorpio. You're going to start experiencing a lot more healthy dynamics. And as you can be vulnerable and open, you'll attract more of the same. Communication can be so important here. Instead of assuming in your mind or leaving for things to be assumed, clear it up, because where it's this dense in the forest, it's like you're not out of the clear yet. But where it's this dense in the forest, it can be easy to misconstrue something. Because while all of this is coming, it feels like you haven't yet established yourself in it. And so you may sort of still be navigating or learning to discern and differentiate between like older energies and newer energies. Also, the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is gorgeous here. And we got all elements present, right? We got some wands, we got some cups, we got some swords, we got some pentacles, and we got a major. And the major is the high priestess. So it's a good thing that you've gotten over your fear of the dark, Scorpio, because there's a lot that you won't know. And it's not that you won't know in the bad way. It's that it's the energy of a pleasant surprise. You will be pleasantly surprised, Scorpio. This is so gorgeous, girl. Gales. This is, I mean, hello. Let's go Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups. Power is distilled from transforming fires. The cauldron of life and death works its alchemy of transformation. See, I love, like, I feel like this mystical tarot deck is the most, I feel like it's the deck that I'm the most connected to. Because I will talk and talk and talk, and then it will literally say that. Or, like, they'll carry this imagery between different suits, and it'll be consistent, right? Like this starry night sky, this giant here, this fiery creature here. Oh, I was in the car with my brother the other day, and sometimes I'll just, like, things will just randomly pop into my mind. And I was like, "Did you put your name in the goblet, Harry?" Or whatever, Dumbledore. I was about to say Gandalf. Whatever Dumbledore said to Harry Potter and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. When he was like, "Did you put your name in the goblet, Harry?" And Harry's like, "What? No, girl, I'm just as shook and surprised as you are." Maybe some of this started to happen in a space where you weren't even fully at that time recognizing it. Or maybe you were born in the gauntlet. But whatever is happening, like, you're coming out of it in some of the most gorgeous ways. And with this Ten of Wands and this Eight of Wands, with these two together, something about your journey and navigating your darkness, you may be able to connect to lots of other people. And you may be someone who can come into the space of being a guide through darkness and helping other people start to see the light, the cracks of light in their own darkness, to the point where they can emerge as well. Right? Like, we go from the Ten of Wands to the Five of Wands and then the Six of Cups. This Six of Cups feels like a deeper, it feels like connecting to who you are on a more soul level, at your roots, at your core. It also felt like something else that I forgot. Sorry. And it's not that everything will necessarily be perfectly known, but again, I feel like you can navigate this now. Sorry, let me get back to reading. Power is distilled from transforming fires. The cauldron of life and death works its alchemy of transformation. The commanding energies of the lion of healing rise to manifest upon the wheel of change, celestial sphere of the goddess of the corona borealis, the heavenly castle of guiding stars. The cosmic dome brings tidings of seasonal changes and cyclic events. The cauldron of life reflects these shifts and pours the resulting bounty upon the universe. Fires of transformation never cease, one season turning into another, the decaying and dying rising over and over again, in resurrection and return. The innocent grows and moves from infancy through adolescence and on into adulthood. Maturity comes slowly as the innocent painfully meets each stage of life, experiencing the frequently frightening challenges and lamenting the sorrows as he is caught within the ever-bubbling brew in the cauldron of transformation. In each phase, the innocent, forever curious, finds something upon which to take temporary rest. The time has come for love, as the transformative powers convert the innocent into the young lover. Yet all is not smooth. The innocent goes slowly, carefully experiencing and learning from new explosive emotions that birth the adult in the turmoil or awkwardness and uncertainty. Oh my gosh, girl. Yes, please. I got Scorpio in me. My Pluto is in Scorpio. I might be claiming it today. But what's the most interesting to me, Scorpio, is that a lot of these have been fairly heavy. A lot of these have been they've brought up like blockages and things of that nature, from what I can remember. And so I feel like your biggest challenge again may be communication in this space. Your biggest challenge may be fixing yourself in this new space. But that'll happen. So just, I mean, keep doing whatever you're doing that's working out for you. It'll happen in time. You don't have to like freak out about it. And like, if you make a misstep or a mistake, or if things get a little rocky, that's fine. Because we're all learning and growing, and challenge is a part of life. The lion of healing that bubbles from the cauldron of death and life and transformation and all kinds of stuff, girl, wait. Also, here, look at this imagery from two different suits. You see the spear that rises through the lion of healing and points towards that corona borealis, and then we see the wand that is struck. There's only one wand in this Eight of Wands. The other wands are sort of shadows. I mean, love and light, Scorpio, like, hello. Maybe learn what love and light mean to you, or like learn to actually live in the frequencies of love and light rather than just saying it, right? I mean, and the High Priestess is here. The High Priestess has already come out today. The High Priestess is my Live Life and See card. Sometimes. Sometimes the High Priestess is the like, you already know that this is happening, or you already know what I'm about to tell you card. Sometimes it's the Live Life and See card. Sometimes it's the, even if I told you right now, you wouldn't even know, or you wouldn't even begin to comprehend what the answer is to the question that you're asking. Therefore, see, live life and find out. But this is gorgeous. And maybe in the past, with that Seven of Swords, you always felt like you were being cheated in certain dynamics and relationships. Maybe you felt that you can never be vulnerable because vulnerability was never returned, or your vulnerability was used against you. But I feel like you're about to start discovering. You've probably already have begun to discover how you contributed to certain dynamics, or how certain dynamics have affected you beyond that relationship, right? Even if a certain relationship is over, it's like you may still be acting in the hurt or acting in the pain. Maybe it's something that you experience frequently. And so maybe again, you've come upon the opportunity to discover how maybe now that, or when you were entering, and again, like maybe you're about to come into this, maybe you're coming into this, maybe you've been through this. But it's like you're discovering how, in this place of transition, again, sort of navigating both the old world and the new world and discerning between the two, how holding on to everything from the past limits you from receiving everything that's coming in the present and what will become your future. You're beginning to see that. And it's like, because you can see that now with the Seven of Swords, you can correct in self for how you perpetrate this energy. And then you can receive everything else that there is to receive. The Nine of Pentacles is down here. The Nine of Pentacles here, it feels like this is a completion of old cycles, it feels like. And now it's positioned for something new. There's the Daughter of Swords, which is the new. But it's a new way of thinking. And so you're probably going to be challenged in a lot of ways, especially if you've been in not great dynamics, or if you haven't experienced someone like being more fully accepting and encouraging of you in your totality. The Daughter of Swords is like that. I feel like that's that time period of adjusting as you're shifting from one mindset to another. As you learn to discern more and more, where it's safe. I don't want to say safe, but as you learn to, justice justice is an 8 in this deck. Yeah, that's what I said for Leo. I was gonna say here's the 11 to get that 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but it's an 8 in this deck, so we get another 8, which is fine, girl. Which is fine. I mean, but literally, like, you got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then a numerological 1. Like, that's like, girl, it's all there. And you got 2 3s. So you're being met in that 3 space. You're probably going to be met by those who are learning to do the same, or those who are also emerging from whatever their own darkness was. And when you're both emerging, sometimes things can get a little complicated. And that's why I think communication is so important, because it can be really easy to judge a situation for what it was in the past, right? This is where we can be extra hasty and cut something off because of what we experienced in a past cycle. But we're going to be coming into times of wish fulfillment with that Nine of Cups, which is the second decan of Scorpio. So Uranus right now is entering, it's probably going to retrograde. The World card, there's the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is both people in that 3 space building and learning together. It could be you and its energy, right? 3 Cups, 3 Wands, 3 Pentacles. Did y'all catch that the Three of Swords is the only 3 that we haven't seen now? Because again, Scorpio is transformed, ED, like DONE, in the period of rebirth, emerging from the Four of Swords cave, girl. 3 of Swords, who? Yeah, she used to be scary. Like, I used to be like, I've seen what's in the dark. I know how scary it truly is. But then, like, I turned on the light and I was like, oh. So what happened was there wasn't a lot of light down here. So it made y'all little itty bitty tiny shadows look a lot bigger, and then y'all blended into the darkness, so I couldn't even differentiate you from the dark. So I thought I was surrounded, or I thought things were a lot worse than what they were, but with a little bit more light, girl, like, yeah, I guess there wasn't anything to be afraid of after all. Right? But again, it gives me Ice Queen energy from the Magical Dimensions Oracle cards and activators. Because Ice Queen to me is one of those energies where it's like, you know the light, you know darkness, you choose light. But because you know darkness, you're able to help guide other people through theirs in some way. Probably, honestly, in a way that I might not be that great at doing, because 4 of Wands and the Magician, okay. Scorpio, I gotta move on, but your energy is just so gorgeous. Because there are a lot of challenges that I feel like people have, that it's not that my life is without challenge, but I think sometimes it's just a little difficult for me to connect to spaces. And I'm the type of person that, like, I don't really remember pain. And so, like, when I go to the doctor for a checkup and they're like, oh, how's everything going? Have you, like, any aches and pains? Like, in that moment, I won't be able to remember. I don't remember pain. Or if they're like, oh, well, how much does it hurt? If I'm not currently feeling it, I don't remember. And so it's like, I know that things were bad, and I remember things being really bad, girl. But I don't know if I'm just, like, in my new cycle of week. It just probably isn't one of the ways that I serve the collective on a larger sort of scale. Or it might be. Who knows? Anyway. We got Gemini to do. Scorpio. Wherefore art thou my Scorpio? There's the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords talks about the winds of the past, the present, and the Fool, and the Ten of Cups. 10 of Swords with the 10 of Cups. What? It talks about the winds of change blowing, and it talks about the importance of contextualizing the past, the present, and the future moving forward. So we're no longer stuck in the past, but we can look at our past. Again, you can look at your darkness, you can look at what you've come through, where you've been, put it in a certain context in the present moment that moves you forward towards the future that you want. instead of just allowing your life to be dominated by the past and the Three of Swords, heartbreak and disappointments, and I've never experienced this, therefore, like, you know, no one will ever get me, everybody is this, everybody is that, and life is this way. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't have to be. And Scorpio, I feel like, you know, I might be preaching to the choir. That was gorgeous, Scorpio. Gorgeous. So, Scorpio, you're my new fave. Hashtag get ready for South Node Scorpio coming in, I think, January. But if you good, you good, babes. So you ain't got nothing to worry about. Honestly, when we move into South Node Scorpio, especially if you are emerging right now, the fact that you're emerging now, it may put you in a position to help a lot of people or to help the collective as we potentially struggle through the shadow side of Scorpio energy. So, you know, there's that. So, Gemini, I'm going to say 120. I might as well probably type 121. 120. 58. Gemini, what's up? What up, Gems? I've already done Pisces. Honestly, in the first video, I just realized that. No, never mind. The first video was Virgo, Pisces, and then Capricorn and Aquarius. I was going to say, I think I've done like 3 modalities in the video for every video, but not the first one. The second one was all the remaining 3 cardinal signs. This one was the remaining 3 fixed signs, and Gemini, you know, I guess the mutable signs ended it both yesterday and today. Sagittarius yesterday, Gemini today. So it's almost your season, Gemini. We're going to have that total lunar eclipse full moon, Sagittarius, and then that solar eclipse new moon, Gemini. We're actually going to have 2 Aquarius full moons this year, I think. And after we have those, yeah, one in July, one in August. And after we have that second Aquarius full moon, it's going to shift us back to having new moons at the beginning of a zodiac cycle. Instead of having like a full moon a few days in and then a new moon at the end of the season, we're going to have that new moon first again. So it may be a little easier. Sometimes it's easier to approach things from beginning to end. But, you know, Gemini, you're mutable. You got that kind of mind. You could probably work from middle to beginning to end, or from beginning, or from the end to the beginning to the middle, or however. Right? You probably good. So, Gemini, let's see what we get for you today. Tonight. We are young. Ooh, Lady of Swords. Everything is connected apparently today. This card was at the bottom of the deck for Leo. Bottom of the deck for you is the Lady of Cups. Come through, twins, with 2 ladies. The Lady of Cups and the Lady of Swords. Also, Leo got Swordfish in their card. Swordfish was a blend of water energy because they're fish, but an air energy because of the sword. Now you have the water and the sword. You might have Leo in you. You may be connected to Leo. I don't know. Leo and Gemini like sextile, right? So that's a favorable sort of relationship. It may not be as like hot as Aries Gemini, right? Because I feel like Aries Gemini would get into like everything. Leo Gemini, it'd be like cool. I feel like Leo Gemini is like chilling, smoking, doing something like that. I feel like Leo Gemini would have a little bit like of a Piscean energy, but not as potentially like reserved. Right? I feel like Aries Gemini would be like a forest fire. But Leo Gemini would be like, you know, a day at the beach. This is a lot of cards, Gemini. And I wasn't going to take them, but the mother, she almost hit the flow. The Mother of Cups is here. And you have the Lady of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So we're going to go through them. Sagittarius had a lot of cards too. Father of Swords is here. So you have the King of Swords, Queen of Swords energy, and then the Queen of Cups energy twice. Father of Swords, Lady of Cups, Mother of Cups. How are we gonna? Oh, this is how many cards is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards. And the 13th card, Gemini, is Death. 13 for 13. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely taking all of these. Can you still see this? Yes, she's a little tilted, but that's fine. I have a wide angled lens, bro. I don't know, like, I don't have a lot of space here. My camera is really close. I don't know why I thought wide angle would be the move. But honestly, it makes it look a little fish-eyed, where it kind of sort of curves towards the end. But if it wasn't wide angled, I may not be able to get all of these in here. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe. Maybe it's all about perspective. Maybe it's always been about perspective. Okay, and then we got these last three cards. The fourth. Okay, Gemini, work. My camera just cut itself off. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Mercury is in Gemini right now, about to go retrograde pretty soon. Gemini said, I need my own video. Gemini said, I came up with 13 cards, girl. I think I need my own video. Okay, Gemini, here you go. It's all you. It's all you. We will give you everything, Gemini. Anything you need, you want. We got it. Let's start with the Lady of Swords, though. And we'll see what this is about. Lady of Swords. The Lady of Swords is a priestess ushering in a deeply spiritual period with fiery awakening, enlightenment, successful accomplishment of life's goals, and reason for incarnation. She manifests high spiritual attainment, shining the light of transcendence, putting within grasp connections with the great consciousness. Self-realization is here as the lady lives beyond the limits of the physical world and its ultimate corruption and death. Empty of illusion, she has attained the highest state of intelligence, communicating with the great inner wisdom. The seeker who reaches this state of high spiritual attainment does so only by suffering a major transformative crisis, one that completely strips her of all of her grounding and familiar comforts. She is ripped away from the rhythms of a once established and well-loved life. Left with feelings of abandonment and deep heart-wrenching loss, the seeker goes through the tragic pains of rebuilding and birthing a new life for herself. Only by suffering complete desolation and ruin is she able to climb the spiritual ladder to enlightenment. The arrival at this state of great knowing comes only with the high cost of sorrow and death. And death, again, is the last card that you had out. I love this, like, Ace of Swords moon into the death card, though, because then I feel like how I like to put it is it gives context to it. And with proper context, it's like we can sort of make our way through anything. It's like knowing what it was all for. Again, it's like, what did it say? It said, basically, like, your life goals and the reason for your incarnation. Now, the Father of Swords is here. With the Father of Swords being here and the Lady of Swords being here, honestly, it feels like you may be teaching this to the Father of Swords, low-key. Or you may be taking the Father of Swords energy further. With the Lady of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Here there are two moons, both looking full. Here there's one moon, and it's a crescent moon. We see 2, 3 fish. We see a few fish. That might be 2 fish. Yeah, we see 2 fish here. One of the fish looks like it's more in the water. The other one looks like it's more out of the water. So shout out to your Piscean mutable siblings. I feel like Pisces and Gemini are the two most similar mutable signs. I feel like if Gemini wasn't Gemini, then people would talk about Pisces like they talk about Gemini. So thank you, Gemini, for taking the brunt of that. So us Pisces get a little bit less of all of that shade. And the other mutable signs get even less in that regard, right? The other ones get their own brand of shade for different things. So the Mother of Cups, the Son of Wands, the Magician, the Four of Wands, the Moon, the World, the Three of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, Strength, and Death. Now these kind of sort of laid out two, so that's how I'm going to read them. We're starting with the Four of Pentacles. We're ending at Death. So starting at a position where you're closed off, I think that's talking about the great pain and suffering that you had to experience. With the Mother of Cups and the World card, that's almost like it was, I don't want to say you were destined to suffer in that way. I feel more comfortable saying you were destined to overcome those obstacles and challenges. And you were destined to grow into a person that with the strength that you have today. Now, I feel like that's a little bit before birth. So if you believe in pre-soul contracts, that's a pre-soul contract where you signed up for a rough one. But again, you signed up for one that would teach you everything that you needed to know. It would position you perfectly to receive all of this Lady of Swords, wisdom and clarity, and inner great wisdom. Great inner wisdom. So we get down here and we get to the Three of Pentacles and the Son of Wands. Honestly, that feels like a lot of selfish people or selfish energies. It doesn't feel like a lot of, even though the Three of Pentacles is typically a card of cooperation and collaboration, it feels like a lot of ego and self-motivation with that Son of Wands card, which maybe caused you to want to strike out on your own and start manifesting things for yourself, which gives you the strength that you needed in some way, or it showed you an ability that you have. It's like you get fed up working with snakes, and so you decide to strike out on your own with the Seven of Wands and to begin to create from that space with the Magician, again tapping into the realm of your strengths. Then we come to the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups. The Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups, to me, feels like it's a space of finding acceptance, finding community, finding spaces where you're celebrated, where you can be open and where you can celebrate, and things of that nature. The Moon and the Ace of Swords coming with the death. All right, Gemini, let's do this again. I don't know why this keeps happening, but I think I'll stitch all the videos together because I think I can do that. But there won't be any transitions. This Ace of Swords and the Moon card, I feel like it references back to your pre-incarnation contract because it feels like, especially from here to here, it's like you not understanding why things were so difficult for you. But eventually you start to enter those spaces that like were always yours. You were never meant to stay in whatever like this ugliness and difficulty could have been. And it's almost like without this, you never would have gone on your own and manifested all that you did. It's like you never would have found that strength within you. Here with the Moon and the Ace of Swords, it's understanding again this and what this whole journey was, to the point where you come out transformed on the other side. And then you have this big energy here. Honestly, this feels like a really big calling or a really expansive and pretty nice set of gifts and abilities or something of that nature. Because you have the Lady of Swords, Lady of Cups, Father of Swords. Also, with the Father of Swords here, you may find someone who's maybe from a different background, but who has had maybe a similar trajectory in life. Like the situation may have been different, but it feels like the feelings that resulted may have been a lot of the same. Oh my gosh, Gemini, I've been rambling. I don't know when it cut off. I don't know what you heard or what you didn't hear. Maybe I just said a whole bunch of stuff that you'll find out. So the Lady of Cups is here as an energy of healthy boundaries. So as you've gone through your journey, as you've gone through the difficulty, finding your strength, finding community. And then as you reach the point where you can begin to understand what you had to gain from this, and when you begin to understand how this positions you to become this powerhouse with Strength, the Magician, and the Seven of Wands, and then you reach that transformation, you may come upon other people that you also want to help with their transformation, right? Now there could be some kinship or some tie here because we do have like a Lady of Swords and a Father of Swords. But it's like different backgrounds. It's like the environment, the situation, the circumstances may have been different, but it could have carried a lot of the same energy. And that's why Lady of Cups is coming through, where it's so important to have healthy boundaries and self-love, because you can't do other people's work for them. And by that, it's like, you can reach this point of transformation within yourself, see someone else who may be struggling back here, want them for them so bad to also reach their point of transformation, but they have a lot of internal resistance. That's where the Lady of Cups can see and understand and recognize that we all come into it at our own time, and where she establishes the healthy boundaries. So sorry that this cut out like 2 times, and apparently the last time it wasn't even recording, but I'm gonna stitch this all together. Ain't gonna be no transition, so you may notice, you may not notice. I mean, I said something. I said, oh my gosh, the camera just cut out. So, you will. But hopefully the message gets communicated through. I feel like this is the only one that did that. Whatever was lost, probably lost for a reason. Because here with the Moon and the Ace of Swords, it's for you to come up with your own understanding of this, like she said. I would say it may be beneficial to focus on using the lens of transformation and what this positioned you to want and desire and to become within yourself. So with that, I hope you have a good whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to experience all that you wish to in this reality. Because at the end of the day, the power and choice is yours. And yeah, like this is it's heavy, but it's gorgeous. This is probably a life with some kind of calling on it, honestly. And one that's probably really positioned to be of high impact and benefit to a lot of people who probably need somebody. It may also be the case that with the Lady and the Father of Swords, again, healthy boundaries are important with the Lady of Cups, but this may also tie into this. It's like you could become the person that you wish you had when you were in your darkest moment for other people. Or you may be like a motivational speaker or a life coach or a healer or something like that. And you having the strength to reach that transformation and go through it is going to so greatly benefit people who may not have had anyone else, who may have gotten stuck in this, where it's like no matter who they work with or no matter who they turn to, it's like everyone only cares about themselves, and so they may experience a lot of misuse and maybe some abuse or disregard, and then they kind of sort of do that to themselves. I feel like a lot of the darkness, especially down here, we don't necessarily see, but I also feel like it's because it's important not to fixate on it. It is important to understand. That's why the Ace of Swords is here with the Moon card, but it's an understanding. Oh my gosh, Gemini. It just happened again. It's a transformation. It's an understanding with transformation in mind. It's not understanding to be stuck back here. So now I'm going to end this. I will catch y'all later. Bye.